Hello, my name is Jonathan, and today I'm going to show you my Sweet Config, a way to visualize your dev environment. This app was built using React, React Router, Redux, Node, Express, Knex, Postgres, uses the GitHub API, and it's deployed on Heroku. So let's go ahead and check out the app, sweetconfig.herokuapp.com. So when you arrive, you'll see a login form. If you try to log in without any information, you'll get a custom error. If you try to give an incorrect login, it'll catch that as well. Well, clearly we need to sign up. So you can click here, I'm not a member, and you'll notice that the nav bar is working properly. We are using React Router, and that is how I'm getting the nav bar to display that we're on sign up as opposed to login. So for example, if I was to go now to login, you'll see that it goes to login. And if we were to go to sign up, it'll take us to sign up. I also want to point out that I do give the documents titles so you can actually see where you are. So for example, if you're holding back the back button, you could see your history. So it properly kind of marks where you were. So now let's sign up. So first, we're going to need a gist ID. So you can click here to get some help. So we need to install Ballin Scripts, which is a separate project that I built as a side project. So Ballin Scripts is just an assortment of some useful scripts that I wrote that I use daily. And we're specifically going to be using GU, which is a way to back up your dev environment to a private gist, essentially a gist update kind of script. And so we're going to go ahead and download this using the install script. All right, so I've copied the install script here. You can see that it is first cloning the repo, installing it to your computer, and it's kind of telling you what it's doing. So first we're balling, and then we created a config file, essentially using the default settings. Now it's asking if we already have a Ballin Scripts backup gist. In this case, I do, but I'm going to press enter to do no, which is the default, because I want to show you guys how to set it up from scratch. Okay, so it just created a private gist called myconfig at the following URL, and it stored my new gist ID in my config and installed anything that might be missing, sym-linked binaries so that I can type commands directly and terminal will know what it is. And this signifies that we are ballin'. We are all set. So I'll quickly just show you what some of the scripts can do. So if you type ballin', you'll kind of see everything you can do. You can try to do an update, for example. It sees that it's already up to date and kind of just checks everything. You can uninstall. You can try to use up, which will update Homebrew and a bunch of different things. I'm not going to run that now. And another cool one is that you can actually change your theme color in Atom quickly from dark to light. So I could say theme, and you'll see that it changes. I could say theme L for light. Well, it's already set to light. I could say same theme D, and it'll go dark. But what I really want to show you is GU. All right, so let's try running GU for the first time. See what happens. So what it's doing now is it's actually scanning my computer, trying to see if I have any of the files which I've personally hard-coded in that I think developers might use or might want backed up. And some things are just commands. So for example, brew list is a command, and I'm storing that in a file and then backing that up to the gist. And each line item you see here is actually hitting the GitHub API using something I installed from Homebrew that was written by the co-founder of GitHub called Gist. So, and a lot of people want to back up their files in case they get a new computer or something goes wrong with their computer. We spend a lot of time kind of customizing our environment. So it's nice to know that there's backup. Especially for somebody like me who spends quite a bit of time tweaking around their bash profile and stuff like that. So, all right, you can see that we've now backed everything up, and that's what the those floppy disks signify. Well, that kind of took a while. Will it take that long every time? Let's see. Okay, well, so now you see the checks That's showing us that there hasn't actually been any updates, and you can see it went pretty fast because it's actually cached. It's not even hitting the GitHub API. It's all local. So, obviously if there's a change, there'll be a plus, and it would hit the API. So we downloaded Ballin scripts, we generated a backup of our dev environment, and so now we need to actually get the gist ID. You'll see that it uses something called Ballin config. You just type that and get your full config, so you can customize your themes. You can tweak some of your settings for updating, and you see your ID. Now, if we want to just grab something specific, such as GU ID, you can do that. And we want to copy it, so I'm just going to use pv copy so it's on my clipboard. Okay, so now let's go back to sign up and paste that ID in. Now let's sign up, I'm ready. Oh, looks like we're missing fields. You can see that the ones that are missing are now red. So let's create a username. I'm gonna be jballin. You can see it's now green. Oh, I can't even click sign up anymore because there are errors currently, as you can see. I'm just gonna try J for my email. Oh, invalid, interesting. Let's try jballin at google.com. Okay, now password still missing. So let's try password. That one's good, but this does not match. Now they match. Okay, so let's try signing up. You can see that there's a little spinner, and we get a sweet alert saying welcome, along with our username. Before we log in, I want you to see what the raw gist looks like, so you can understand how much cleaner the app is. So you'll see that I use GU open to just open the gist easily. And here you can see it. Just, just the files, just raw. You can see your bash profile, different things you've installed with Homebrew, etc., all backed up for you. Okay, now let's log in. Greetings, jballin. So now you can see that you have a bunch of different categories here. So we have those exact same files, but they're now categorized. They're using embeds, which provides syntax highlighting for something like, let's say if we looked at our bash profile, you'll see some colors. So that's basically the app, just a way to look at your files more easily. Now let's take a look at what's being stored on the client. You'll notice there's actually no local storage. The only thing that I'm actually storing is the JSON web token, which you'll see here. And you'll notice that the cookie is HTTP only, meaning that it can't be accessed using JavaScript from the browser, for example. It can only be done using HTTP requests. And secure, meaning that you need to be on HTTPS, like I am. And it also has an expiry date that you can see. So I chose a JSON web token to authorize users as they are going about the site. So once you get authenticated, I generate on login, I generate a JWT for you that includes your ID for identification. And if you log out, you'll notice that it goes away. It's gone. So if somebody else tries to access the app, they will not be able to. But you'll notice if I try to refresh, what are these 400 requests to log in? Well, it turns out it's actually trying to log in with that non-existent token. Let's try logging in. Okay, greetings. And watch what happens if we refresh the page. We're still logged in. So I essentially simulated sessions by sending login requests using your token. So you can close the browser and the cookie will remain because I gave it a max age. Otherwise, they become session cookies by default. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is this edit profile page. So here's where you can update your information or delete your profile. So let's say that I wanted to change my username to Frank. Try update profile. Okay, it's telling me I'm going to update my username. Yeah, and I need my password. I don't even remember it, but let's see what happens. Oh, okay, I got it wrong. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm now Frank. And you can see that the placeholders have the actual values for what's currently true for you. So let's actually change it back to jballin, and let's change it to jballin@gmail.com because I put in the wrong email before. So now I'm updating email and username. So I can put in my password, update me, and I've successfully updated my profile. Okay, and you can see that the information updates as well. You can also, if you try to update without any information, it'll kind of give you a heads up. If you click away, nothing bad will happen. You can cancel. So that's edit. Now let's take a look at delete. Okay, pretty similar. Type in your password. And that's it. I've left the site, and it says, may your config always be sweet and your bugs squashed. Now you'll notice that this sent me to the logout flow, which removed my cookie. And now if I try to refresh, it doesn't let me sign in. And by the way, that little loading spinner that you saw is that temporary authentication attempt to log in. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed my app, and I'm happy to speak with anybody who's interested in more in depth about a lot of other different details that I wasn't able to go into in this short video. Thanks. I quickly wanted to show you the backend a little bit because I actually really enjoyed the backend and I spent a lot of time on it. It actually has more commits than the front end. And you can tell that I am running ESLint. I use Airbnb's style guide. Check before every test. There's 62 tests here. It's testing for specific errors. There's many different errors that it's testing for. It's trying to test for every edge case that I could think of. And the beauty of running tests like this is that when I make changes, I can immediately tell what needs to be changed. And as I've matured as a developer, I've learned how much time it saves to write tests up front. And I just love getting the green check marks. So that's 62 passing tests.